Hello, my name is Ron Dyck, and together with my wife Marilyn, we've been members of Parliament Community Church since 1986 when we moved down from Saskatoon. We've been asked to share a little bit of our thoughts and our faith walk on our perspective of tithing. We've come to believe that the act of tithing can be broken down into two parts. Our mindset, that being what does the Bible say and how do we interpret those passages, and our obedience, or how do we follow through given our biblical mindset. So on the mindset, Marilyn and I have always tithed as a married couple. We grew up in families where this was just done, no questions asked. Our tithing was not always what it should be, but we did give as regularly as we could. In our second year of marriage, which was in 1983, we attended a church event with a very powerful and well-known speaker, and it was a conference fundraising event. And during the sermon, the speaker made a couple of statements. In Leviticus 27, verse 30 to 32, it says, "A tithe of everything from the land, whether grain from the soil or fruit from the trees, belongs to the Lord. It is holy to the Lord. Whoever would redeem any of their tithe must add a fifth of it. Every tithe of the herd and flock, every 10th animal that passes under the shepherd's rod, will be holy to the Lord." The speaker pointed out that our God is a holy and a just God. And if he is holy and just, then what he says is true. And he doesn't say anything that is not true. He commands it, and therefore there is an expectation of obedience. That was no problem to us. We were obedient, we tithed. Not as much as maybe what was commanded, but it was the thought that counts, right? But the speaker wasn't done. He went on to say that God, who we've just established is holy and just, says that the offerings and the tithes are holy to him, and they are his. And since they are holy and holy to him, he will not allow anyone or anything to have what is holy to him. Why would we think, us as mortal man, that God would allow us to keep what is holy and his? We can be assured that we will not benefit from not giving him what is his. And that was a sobering revelation. To us, it boiled down to God commands us to tithe. He loves a cheerful giver, and while he gives me a choice to be obedient, he will not allow me to benefit or to keep the gain from my disobedience. And so obedience side. From that day forward, Marilyn and I committed to prayer that we would follow the Lord's instruction regarding tithing. Our tithing foundation from that day on was to work towards giving the Lord 10% of all income that came into our house. And that included our salary, our bonuses, our tax rebates, honorariums, and so on. And our plan was to move to up to 10% in 5 years. Not exactly biblical, but again, God would be happy with our intentions and promises. And after a year later, after replacing our transmission for the second time, and a couple of other car and home breakdowns, we got really serious and jumped right into the tithing as God commanded us and what we felt we were being called to. And over the years, God has blessed us with more than we can ask. We added gifts and offerings or extra giving to other missions and charitable agencies. We have not gotten rich because of our tithing, but as a couple, we have not wanted for anything. And the richest blessing that has been our contentment and our joy in our decision to obey. I'd like to share with you a recent and a very personal blessing that Marilyn and I have experienced. In 2019 in fall, we purchased a new toy hauler camper. It's a camper that we could camp in, but also we could haul our motorcycles in. And we bought it for our ministry, and then COVID hit. And we couldn't go camping, and we couldn't do ministry, and so we ended up renting a seasonal site at Craven World. And he gave us a place of refuge and retreat. But we weren't using the toy hauler like what it was supposed to be. and the price of gas was skyrocketing, and we really enjoyed our seasonal site. We wanted a bigger trailer to share with the kids and the grandkids, and so we bought a 2008, which was new to us, a very large fifth wheeler for $18,000. We didn't have a truck to pull this big trailer, but we bought it to be our cabin and our retreat. In February of 2023, I was struck with the thought that I need to list my camper for sale. And so I listed it, and I listed it for $22,500, and it sold in 24 hours, leaving us a $4,500 profit. I still needed a way to haul my Harley Davidson to various CMA events when I needed to bring supplies and guitars and speakers and so on and so forth. So I was looking to buy an open flatbed trailer to haul the bike. I was hoping to find something that the difference of $4,500 would cover. In reflection, not spending any more money was a wish, but to be honest, I never really took that wish to God in prayer. In March, I was also reading through Leviticus about offerings in my personal devotionals. And I came to Marilyn and said that I felt I was being prompted by God to give him a thank you offering for sending somebody to buy our trailer. And I wanted to tithe on the selling price and not the profit. So $2,000 went to tithing, in addition to everything else, to various missions in March. That left us with $2,500. It also meant that we would most likely have to dip into our savings in order to buy a trailer to haul the bike. And so as I was looking around and pricing things out, in May, a friend contacted me and asked me if I was interested in his flatbed motorcycle trailer. It checked off all of my requirements, and I was asking him how much he wanted for it. And he says, if you're using it for CMA ministry, I was going to see if $2,500 was acceptable. I shook his hand, I said it's a deal, and then I shared with him this story. And even though I didn't bring up my financial wishes to God in prayer, he blessed us with our desire and a willingness to be faithful. There are a lot of different viewpoints on tithing. I'm not saying that you need to follow the model that Marilyn and I follow. Ours is one given by God to the two of us. But I want to encourage you, as fellow members in PCC and fellow brothers and sisters in Christ, to consider with seriousness God's command that we have what we have because God has blessed us. And all he asks for us is to be obedient to him and to return to him the first tenth of those blessings. Take the time to bring your giving desires and your concerns to him and ask for his direction. He will not fail you if you come before him with a faithful and a humble heart. He will provide a plan that will work for you and will provide countless joy and blessings if we remain faithful and obedient to his commands. God bless.